Greetings, Otaku Faithful. Thank you for joining me again this week. Once again, it's Larry Williams, OAW Commander-in-Chief, and I'm here to bring you my Manga of the Month segment for July right here on Otaku Assemble! Weekly. Now, to kick back up my Manga of the Month segment, I decided to take a look at the manhwa, the Korean comic book series entitled Veritas. Now, just like my previous Manga of the Month segment for May, this video will have little to no spoilers for all of those of you who want to check this series out, and it will also be a first impressions video. This review will be based strictly off of the first chapter of this manhwa, and a little bit of information that I got from the Wikia page. But other than that, on with the review. Now, Veritas is a manhwa written by Yoon Joon-sik, and it's illustrated by Kim Dong-hoon. You'll have to forgive me from my pronunciation, but I'm not all great with Korean. But anyway, so pretty much, long story short, what this manhwa is about, it's about a teenage boy named Ryong. I believe that's how you pronounce it. And he's pretty much saved by a character named Yoon Chun, also known as Lightning Tiger. And pretty much what happens is Lightning Tiger saves the main character from a gang fight. And the main character just becomes obsessed with this guy who can apparently, fight multiple people at once with very, very, very little ease. Or much ease, rather. But, yeah, much ease. But, so, the main character just gets obsessed with this guy. And, he wants to know, well, how are you so strong? And what does it take for me to, become as strong as you? And throughout the course of the first chapter, it's pretty much Lightning Tiger is, he's amused by this lad who, wants to become stronger and whatnot. And, he has fun with him. He dicks around with him. And he pretty much gives him all these tasks to train with. It's pretty obvious, though, that for the most part, he's trying to get rid of him. But when he sees that the kid actually, is serious about becoming stronger and, and taking him as his master, what happens is towards the end of the chapter, he actually takes him and starts teaching him martial arts. And he teaches him a few techniques in what's called the yin-yang 5 elements. And apparently his choice element is based within lightning. And so he teaches him like a few techniques in the art. But by the end of the chapter, he pretty much lets him know, he's like, oh, I gotta go take care of something. Don't know if we'll meet again, but if not, nice knowing you, that type of deal. And at the chapter's end, we find out that apparently Lightning's been killed. And this mysterious group of people, they go and they confront Ryong, and they let him know, it's like, yeah, Lightning's been killed. And that's where the first chapter ends. Now, upon my surfing on Wikipedia, I came across, apparently what happens later on in the story is that Ryong gets recruited by the group that approached him. Apparently they're an organization called Reunion. And Reunion, what their goal is, they collect a bunch of different martial arts, and it's their goal to use that to achieve the peak of human performance. From what I read, they're all about the collection, the evolution, and the progression of martial arts. You know, it's kind of like they're cataloging it. And they have a school for practitioners so that they can get the most of, you know, the martial arts, so they can learn everything about it. And Gang Ryung gets recruited into the school. And apparently throughout the story, he's trying to find out what happened to Lightning. You know, he's trying to find out the whole, you know, the mystery of his death and whatnot. But yeah, that's pretty much what the manga is about, in a nutshell, or the manhwa, excuse me, the manhwa is about. So what are my thoughts on it? I'll be honest with you guys. I first read this over a year ago. I first read this last summer because a friend of mine, shout out to my man JJ. I don't know if he still keeps up with my show. He did at first, but I don't know if he still does. But he recommended it to me. He said I should check it out. And my friend, if you guys remember my good friend Ryan Jones, he's a huge fan of this series. Well, so I checked it out, and it was okay. You know, it wasn't anything spectacular. But upon going back to reread it, I gotta say, I mean, this series seems is just generic. I mean, it's the main character is another run-of-the-mill teenage punk who wants to be strong. I mean, the Lightning Tiger, I mean, he's okay, but once again, he's just a generic young master type character. I mean, to draw comparisons of what I'm talking about, I mean, the two main characters, I've seen them before. The main character I've seen before in Yusuke. I mean, he's like I mean, that's what he is. He's like a generic Yusuke or a generic Ichigo Kurosaki. You know, he's not at all. I don't. From the first chapter, there isn't anything about this character that stands out at all. And Lightning Tiger, while he's an okay character, he's a run of the mill Spike Spiegel. There isn't anything about him that's generally interesting or unique. So, and the whole premise behind the series and the whole plot is just generic. It's, you know, the whole school thing has been done to death, and I know it's an Eastern comic, but you know, the whole martial arts thing, it's like, okay, it's a fighting manhwa. But like I said, the whole fighting manhwa concept within the confines of a school, it's just generic. It's not anything special. I mean, if that's the type of stuff that you're into, if that's the type of stuff that you normally read, more power to you. But if you're looking for something that's genuinely unique, you're not gonna find it here. I'm sorry, but you're not. That's not to say that I'm not saying that it's technically bad. It's just not anything special. I mean, the artwork's okay. The writing for the most part is decent. The dialogue's a little long-winded on certain pages. Like, you'll have a few panels where very little is said, and then you'll have a few where a lot is said. So that type of pacing's a little thrown off. I would much rather prefer like little to medium dialogue throughout. That way it doesn't, like I say, you don't get the effect of it being long-winded. But let's see, what else? I mean, the pacing was done okay. But there's not much character development in the first chapter. Little to none, actually. And like I said, I don't just off the first chapter alone, I mean, like I said, it's not bad, but it's not special. There isn't anything about it just off of the first chapter that would make me want to keep reading it. Especially from what I found out in the Wikia page. I heard that the anime for it was coming out. Now, I might check out the anime, because the anime might progress the story faster. It's my understanding that this was a monthly series because all the chapters are about 25 to 38 pages. So with an anime adaptation, chances are I'm hoping that the story would actually progress more. I mean, the first chapter could be an episode in itself, but I'm saying after the first after the first episode, they would probably pick up speed. So I don't know, who knows? But like I said, nothing too special about this one. So not to make this video long, I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna wrap this up here. This will do it for my Manga of the Month segment for July. Thanks for joining me again this week. As always, guys, comment, rate, subscribe. Don't forget to vote. Don't forget to request and vote for the favorite hero, favorite villain videos each week. Don't do that in this comment section. Do that in those comment sections. And just to remind you guys, like I said, requests are taking off of the most thumbed up comments, not how many times a comment reappears. So for all of you guys, I saw there were a few supernatural comments. You know, a couple of people kept suggesting supernatural. That's not gonna fly. If you want supernatural, you got to thumb up a comment. You have to thumb it up. Otherwise, I'm not gonna bother with it. So with that said, I'll go ahead, leave this video off. Thanks for joining me again this week. This is Larry Williams, OAW Commander-in-Chief. I'm signing off, and I'll catch you cats later. Peace.